Hello, welcome back to programming. This is video number 15, the 6th in the AIArena platform series, and hopefully the last for me. Okay, anyway, in this video I'll show you how to modify Pacman and make it as a game plugin to the platform. So first, what we need to do is we need to grab the select the implementation of the Pacman that we want to use. We want to modify it, of course, and I'm telling you right now, you can basically go to the website. If you're not in this page, you can type in pacman-vs-ghosts and click on the first link. Then go to the software and tutorials. So this implementation of the Pacman is set up for a AI competition that people can submit their Pacman implementation and get the result. And if other people are more comfortable setting up the codes, implementing them, and design the best strategy for the codes, they can submit their codes implementation and then submit it in. And this website will evaluate the Pacman, create the matchups, and show the result in the website. And the average score is shown in the last column, so you can see your ranking, or you can go to ranking and then see your score and be proud of it. So if you're comfortable with the implementation, you can go ahead, download the software, and then submit it in. That's quite a plug. By the way, this website it's maintained by Simon, Lucas, Phillips, and David. So if you have any questions, just go to the forum and then post the question in there. Anyway, I'll show you how to modify. I'll explain what the a little bit about the implementation. But if you have deeper questions about the implementation, you can go to the forum, as I said. So right now, just grab the software and extract it. Extract this folder into AIArena. We don't need this anymore. Let me tell you a little bit about the implementation, because somebody asked how they would go about doing the mesh representation of the Pacman game. In this particular Pacman implementation, it was designed to get the action from Pacman controller or Pacman implementation from anybody submitted in. So it will ask if, hey Pacman, I'm giving you this information about the game, current game state, all of the thing you need to know about the game state, number of nodes. I'll explain that later. The location of the ghost and the location of the Pacman. So tell me, given the game state, which way do you want your Pacman to go? So you should get back the direction of the Pacman that you want to be, or you want it to be heading. So the direction of the Pacman is defined internally by an integer. So 0 is up, 1 is right, and down it's 2, and so forth. So the game will give a copy of the game state the game information to the pacman. The pacman calculated and give it back to its wanted direction, and at the same time the game giving its copy of the game state to the ghost implementation, and the ghost implementation should be saying get back the direction of each ghost. There are 4 ghosts to control here, so it's going to be array of 4 integer. They first specify the direction of the first ghost where it should be heading. So I'll explain a little bit more about the how the game loop of this particular implementation when we open up the NetBeans. So right now, let me show you how they actually implement make an internal representation of the maze. So supposedly, your maze is built up of a grid. Each grid is a possible location for the ghost and the pacman. So you can divide it like this. You can say that this is walkable tie, and if the pacman go to here, he can go down. So and this should be walkable. This should be walkable, and then this should be walkable. After we decided it, we can say that this is walkable number 1, this is walkable tie number 2, this is walkable tie number 3, and so forth. So we end up with this. Now it's going to be hard if you add tie number 5 and you want to go up and you want to go right. At node 5, a pacman can go 4 directions: up, down, left, right. So we need a way to tell that it can go left or right, but not up and down. The way they keep track of the possible direction to go to, it's keeping track of the neighbor tie. Supposedly, you can see that 5 has look at 5 tie. You can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me count it again. 8 neighbors. But the possible direction for the ghost to go from 5 is up, down, left, right only. So we only need to keep track of the 4 neighbors. And the next question is, okay, it's okay for 4 to have 4 neighbors, 4 possible neighbors, but then 5, it only have 2 possible neighbors. The way they're doing it is that if up doesn't have the walkable tie, they're gonna set it to -1. Likewise, -1 for the down neighbor of 5. So it would go like 2 has 4 neighbors, but up and down is -1, and left is 1, right is 3. That's how they keep track of the whole node and the whole walkable tie in the game. Keeping information this way, you can easily see that if the pacman suppose the pacman is at 2 and he want to go to the leftmost right most possible tie, he can just say that from the current position go to the right neighbor of the current one. Once it hits here, you can say go to its right neighbor again, go to its right neighbor again until there is no right neighbor to it. Then you can start checking the other directions and so forth. That's the clever way of walking along the path. Now, hope that cleared things up a little bit. If it doesn't doesn't give you any information, just comment down the video, and I'll try to explain it in writing, which is I'm not very good at. So we're done with Firefox actually. Now we want to go to NetBeans. So we need to add a new module to it. We're doing that by right click on the module and then add new. Say we're gonna name it Pacman, and we are copying most of the code from the one we downloaded. So the code name base, it's gonna be Pacman to keep it short. Now copying, we can do the copy by the file explorer, but then we can also do it in NetBeans. Just going to Window and Favorite, and then expand the extracted folder and expand the Pacman module. Copy data, game, images, put it in the source of Pacman. NetBeans will take some time. It needs to update the project after it's done copying each folder, so take a while. So we now have the all the information we need, all the code paste and stuff we need inside Pacman. Now we need to add a game. Let me explain about how the game works. We open the only application executable, the only class with main method inside the package game, which is exe, executable, execution or whatever. So we come here to line number 75. This is the actual game loop. Now the game loop starts up with calling new game, and then looping through update game. This should be update the game. Why the game's not over? Update the game. Now updating the game, calling this method actually updating the game. In order to update the game needs to know which direction the Pacman is going and which are the directions for the ghost. So now let me bump this down a bit. So update game takes two parameters. The first one is going to be the direction for the Pacman. It asks for the Pacman controller. This is the implementation of the Pacman, and get the action from it, giving its game copy of the game information, and giving the game information, copy of the game information to the ghost controller, and get the actions back for all the ghosts. So it have this direction, and then update the internal representation of the game. and then looping on until the game's over. That's how basic it is. So now we are using that in our game, but remember we have our own game loop that's gonna run the update. We only need to check if the game is not over, then we update. Next, in the game.core package, we can see that the loading images and stuff goes into the class called GameView, which is right there, and then it paints it updates the screen by calling the paint component, because this game view is actually a J component. So all of this is what we want. So we want to draw the maze first, and then draw the pills, draw the power pill, and draw the Pac-Man, draw the ghost, and draw how many lives available to the Pac-Man, and draw the game information about the score and game tech, I believe. And if it is over, then draw over. Then swap the um, buffer, graphic buffer. We don't need this anymore. So for our implementation, we want to copy this and paste it in Pacman folder package and rename it to Pacman. I type this as a little m. Now open it. First, we need to say that this, it doesn't have to be final, and this should be walk.aiarena.game. Now you can see there is an error. It can't find the package. So what we want to do is we want to set the property of this module to include the dependency, the base, and now that we're here, we can add a service provider. It's in the lookup module. Click on the add button. We add these two dependencies to the module, and then now we okay, because not okay. We need to implement now the abstract method. Okay, that should be fine. And we need to say that this is actually an implementation of the game, and import the service provider. Now we have the error saying that Pacman must have a public no argument constructor. So we get rid of this, and we need a new implementation of the game. We need to create a new game. Because the game is an interface. It doesn't. It's not an actual implementation. The actual implementation is G or underscore G in this case. So G implement game, and underscore G underscore is an extension to G. They want to abstract it away, or the internal implementation. So we start a new game by calling new game. Okay, that is it for now. Okay, now we get rid of what we don't need. First, the is invisible, delete it. Next, the debugging code and the off-screen graphics. So delete from that to that. Now fix the error, get rid of that. Get rid of the visual age for debugging. It ends here. Since we don't have any off-screen graphics, we can delete this. We don't have the draw debug info, we can get rid of that. And this too. Now skip those. And skip those. And get rid of this. Okay. Now the drawing stuff goes. We want to change the paint component into drawing stuff. So get rid of this. Actually, we don't need the JFrame debugger point, debugger line. Alright, so we're still missing the draw. We want to make this, we want to turn this into draw method. Reading into the graphics, say this is an override method. This should be fine. Now we got all these buffer graphics. The buffer graphics, we can supply it by giving the G into each of these methods. So draw info should be all. Now this should be graphics to DG. I'm sorry, graphics to D buffer graphics. This should be fine. Now we do the same thing in draw pills. Same thing with draw power pills. Same thing with draw pacman, draw ghosts, draw lives, draw info, draw all game over. In the update, we only need to do this. Copy this into this. Just I want to shorten the name, so I'm calling this Pacman, calling this Ghost. And we're not looping it inside update, we only check for it. If the game is actually over, we want to reset it. And resetting it is just call new game on the game object. Now just leave this error for now. I'll go check to the auto implementation. That should be fine, except for the fact that I have all of the images inside my source directory, so I need to get the resource by the way of the applet style instead of the application style. So uncomment this line right here and comment out the application. After we done that, we should be fine. And next, what we want to do is we want to fix pacman and ghost. We're fixing that by going to this pacman is a pacman implementation. A ghost is a ghost implementation. We should declare it first. So private pacman controller pacman ghost controller. Fix import should be fine. Now ghost controller and pacman controller, these are the ghost controller is defined like this as an interface, giving a copy of the game and how much time and the time it has to decide, and we should get back the direction of all the focus. And if you want to implement pacman, you can implement this interface, implement pacman controller, and given the information of the game and how much time you have, give back the direction of the appropriate direction of the pacman. So the example controller is in here. One of the neat things, one of the neat pacman implementation is to the nearest pill pacman. It actually just find the position of the pills and the node position of the power pills, and try to find the nearest one and go to that particular pill. This is how it works, and that's how it is to implement. And then for the ghost, we'll be using the legacy ghost. This is how simple the implementation is, but you need a paper to explain it. Let me give it a shot. There are 4 ghosts, right? The third ghost would just basically random the direction, and for the other 3 ghosts, they measure the distance between the neighbors of the current position of the ghost. So which neighbor is closest to pacman, it will go to that particular neighbor. That's basically it. But the how closer it is from the pacman to the ghost is measured differently for each of the ghosts, and you can check the implementation of that by going to this game.dm. So game.dm define the distance measurement by first is the actual path to the pacman. So this is the real closest neighbor to the pacman, and this measured by the Euclidean method. This is measured by the Manhattan method. Anyway, there's a paper about the legacy team by Simon. You can take a look at that. Now we're back to our implementation. We say pacman is we pick the nearest pure pacman, and it goes. We taking the legacy. After fixing the import, it should be fine. Should we? Okay, it should be fine. Now, the maze I show you is just a simple one. There's only 7 by 7 grid, but the actual maze in the game is kind of big. So you can imagine there's supposed to be square in here, square in here, square in here, square in here, and then down, square down. You can see it's getting big as you want to fill up the whole maze. So the thing that they have to do is they are full mazes. They keeping track of number of the nodes and the number of the neighbors, and its neighbor by saving it in the data file. A is for the information and the node information inside the maze A, and B and C and D and so forth. I don't want to open this because I find it's kind of big, and NetBeans kind of can handle it, but it takes really long time to open it. So DADBDC, this just to keep track of the distances between the node or the tile or the block or whatever you want to call it. They call it node. So this is the distance inside the maze A, distance for maze B, C and D and so forth. Now they need a way to load this information up, and then kind of keep track of the game state. The class that does that is inside the G, I believe. So this is it. So in advancing the game, it gets the pacman direction, the desirable ghost direction, and it updates the pacman direction. Try to eat the pill. Try to eat the power pill and try to update the ghost state. It needs to be reversed or not. Reverse mean that that's a condition for the Pac-Man game, that once the Pac-Man eats the power pill, all the ghost turns into edible ghosts. You can try to eat that and then try to get more score by eating the ghost. And check. These are all the checking code for updating code for the game. And you can look at all this and then get away with the implementation, and maybe you can come up with your own maze, amazing maze, and bigger maze and smaller maze. So Okay. Um, the reason why I'll show you this because it needs to load the data from the data directory, and we need to change that load nodes and load distances. Sorry about that. Um, Now we're back, and I forgot where I was. Okay. Now I want to update. We want to update this to exactly the same way. We want to loading resources using the applet style, not the application style. So comment this. There should be another load. Okay, it's in here. Yep, this should be fine. So wow, almost 40 minutes now. So we we should be fine, except one more thing. Set the game property. First is the title. Next is the delay. Delay should be fine. Just the title. Okay, so now we can run it. We should see 3 buttons, 3 games, including the Pac-Man. It runs because it automatically runs because we have the controller for the Pac-Man and the controller for the Ghost. You might say that it's not fun watching it. You want to play it. So if you want to play it, just do it like this. You want to change this into a human. Human is actually a if you control down and then click on this, you can see the decoration of the human class. It actually extends a key adapter. We just need to supply the key even into it and put it in the key press method. So go back to Pac-Man, hand over the key press, hand over the key press, fix import, and hand over the key press into Pac-Man. Because Pac-Man is declared as a Pac-Man controller, it doesn't have the key press. We need to typecast this into human, and then we can have key press. Should be fine. Format the code for readability. And running it should be fine. No, it doesn't take in the keyboard doesn't work right now. But the thing is you might see that and Pac-Man always going left because the way the game works, Pac-Man originally start up heading direction left. That's why it keep going left until you force it to go other directions. It will always go left. To fix this error, to make you actually play the game, you need to change the base code. It doesn't accept the key. It needs to be with the something wrong with the game runner. Game runner, hand over the key to this. Hand over the key to this game runner. This game runner do something with the key. It doesn't do anything with the key. So, first, to fix this, you need to override the mark click. Fix the import and then request focus on this canvas. Once it's got the focus, it can process the key press by hand over this to the current game. This should fix it. Pac-Man. Okay, I can control it now. I'm very good at Pac-Man. See? Just kidding. I suck at the game. So you might want to adjust it a little bit. You might want to draw it a little bit off to the center. And I know you can figure it out. I don't want it to go over 50 minutes. So one more thing. If you want to, if you give out the AIArena platform, the base, and later on you want to add have user install this as a plugin, you need to do this. You need to right click on it and then create an NBM. So this is what you need to keep them. It's a plugin and it been plugin for your module. So user can go to tools and plugin and click on the downloaded and then click on install. Okay, that's how easy it is for to create a Pac-Man game. Anyway, that this should be the time for to end the series. Cool. Okay. Thank you for watching. I hope I give you enough information about the platform. Thank you for watching. And sorry for the delay. And see you on the next videos. I want to do it every week, so hopefully I can manage to have the time to do it. So see you next video. Thank you for watching and subscribing. Goodbye.